everybody. Welcome to another super episode of Everyday Awesome. If we haven't met, my name is Samantha, and I host a channel called Superhero Central. We've got a special episode in store today. So put on your capes because it's time to take flight. All right, guys, today is a very special day. It is the 100th anniversary of the first ever Mini-Man comic. That's right, 100 years ago today, the first ever Mini-Man comic was released. If you aren't familiar with Mini-Man, he was a scientist who was bitten by a radioactive flea and gained the ability to shrink down to the size of one piece of rice. To celebrate this amazing milestone, I sent a challenge to all my friends to come up with something that was tiny, but mighty. I got lots of replies, but I had one friend in particular who was sure she had the tiniest and mightiest thing to bring on the show. And I'm excited to find out what it is. Everyone welcome my friend Casey.
Hi, Casey.
Hi, Samantha. I'm so excited to be here today.
Awesome.
Trust me. What I have to show you today is very small and very powerful.
Let's see it.
Here it is.
That's a pepper.
Yep.
I'm not sure you understood. I said that you were supposed to bring something that was very tiny, but mighty.
Oh, this little guy right here is both.
But it's a pepper. I see that it's small, but how can it be mighty?
Well, why don't you go ahead and taste it and find out?
Oh, okay. Hot! Oh, that's hot. That's really hot.
See? Pretty powerful, right?
Very. I need water. Oh, is there water anywhere? Oh. How could something so small be so powerful?
Well, that's because it's a volcano's breath pepper. It's actually one of the hottest peppers in the entire world, and it's only grown on one farm in Mexico. Just because something doesn't look like it's mighty doesn't mean that it's weak. In fact, that reminds me of a Bible story.
Really? Tell me about it.
Okay, check this out.
Slapstick Theater, Gideon's 300 Men. This is Gideon, who was a judge of Israel. In the time when Gideon lived, a group of people called the Midianites were taking over the Israelites' land.
Get out of here!
And the Israelites were starving.
Yeah!
So the Israelites asked God for help. God chose Gideon to rescue the Israelites.
Hey, everybody!
And gave him the power to lead an army of Israelites.
Yeah!
One day, Gideon and his army got up early and came close to the Midianite camp. God told Gideon that he had too many warriors with him.
Really?
So God told Gideon to let all the men who were scared go home.
All right, you can go home. Phew.
So 22,000 men went home, and Gideon was left with only 10,000. But God told Gideon that he still had too many men with him.
What, really?
He told Gideon to bring the men down to the water and that God would give them a test.
Okay.
Gideon did as God asked, and then God said, "Divide the men in two groups. In one group, put all those who cup water in their hands and lap it up with their tongues like dogs. In the other group, put those who kneel down and drink with their mouths in the stream." Only 300 men drank from their hands. God told Gideon, "With these 300 men, I will rescue you and give you victory over the Midianites. Send all the others home." So Gideon did as God said.
You can go home.
That night, God told Gideon to get up and go down to the camp to listen to what the Midianites were saying.
Hey, Pura, let's go.
Gideon and his servant Purah went down to the camp and saw the huge army. There were too many men and camels for Gideon to even count.
Whoa, that's a lot of camels.
But Gideon heard a soldier telling another man about a dream he had that showed them that God would give Gideon victory over the Midianites. When Gideon heard this, he worshiped God.
Come on!
Then Gideon and his army of 300 men went down to the Midianite camp. They blew their horns and held torches in their hands. They yelled out, and the Midianite soldiers rushed around in a panic and tried to escape. Then God caused the Midianites to start fighting against each other. Because of God's power, Gideon and his army had victory over the Midianites that day.
Whoa, so Gideon took on a massive army with a tiny one?
Yep. And he had to have some pretty big faith to do it. Can you imagine how he must have felt when God said, "Oh, you have too many men"? Why would God say that? Because he didn't want Israel to think that they defeated the Midianites on their own. He wanted them to know that they needed his help to do it. Gideon does exactly what God asks and is left with 300 men. He went from 22,000 men to only 300.
How many people were they fighting against?
Well, in Judges 7:12, the Bible says that they were as numerous as the sand on the seashore. So, a lot.
So the Midianites had thousands and thousands of men. How was Israel supposed to win with only 300? That doesn't make sense.
Well, Gideon obeyed and trusted God even when it didn't make any sense. When it came time for battle, God caused the Midianites to become confused and start fighting each other. Gideon's men were then able to go in and win the battle. Just like Gideon, by faith, we can obey even when it doesn't make any sense. Once at school, I felt like God was asking me to go up to someone and ask if I could pray for them. I didn't know why. In fact, I didn't even know them at all. But when I asked, I found out that they had a sick family member. And because I obeyed by faith, they were able to receive prayer and experience God's love.
That's amazing.
God does amazing things like that all the time. He loves to use us to bless people. Can you imagine what it would have been like if Gideon had said, "Oh, that doesn't make sense, so I'm not going to do it"? The Israelites would have lost the battle. We don't always know right away why God is asking us to do something. But like Gideon, by faith, we can obey even when it doesn't make any sense. And when we do, God can do amazing things through us.
What if God asks me to do something that's hard or scary?
Well, that's where faith comes in. You see, when we put our faith in God, we trust that He has our best interest in mind. When He asks us to step out in faith, it doesn't just bless others, it blesses us too.
So even just one single person like you or me can have a big impact on the world?
Exactly.
As big an impact as a volcano breath pepper had on me?
Even bigger.
That's amazing. Well, everybody, that does it for another Everyday Awesome video. Thanks for tuning in. And remember to subscribe for more awesome videos like this one. See you later.